So as we said, our knee needs to be able to twist a little bit. Okay, we actually did this one before, but let's do that again. So if you can put your legs and feet together completely, that would be great. But if you need to keep them apart, that's totally fine. Okay. All right. So especially when you go up to the top, you may feel pulling sensation on the knee, especially when your knees are together, feet are together. In that case, you can go ahead and open your feet. Okay, so as you exhale, you just lift up your pelvis just like we usually do. And keep the weight on your big toe as well as your pinky toe. And we open the knees out without letting your toes, big toes come off the floor, and then bring it back in. Let's do 2 more. Open. And keep pushing through the big toes when you open, and then bring it back, and then you go all the way down. So if you felt knee joint being pulled, go ahead and open your feet. Okay, let's do that again. Exhaling. Press through the big toes when you open. And 2 more. So we do 3 openings at the very top every time when we come up, and then go down. If you start feeling your glutes, that's totally fine. We're using the glutes. And the weakness of the glutes makes that screw mechanism dysfunctional. So we are strengthening the glutes, mid, as well as the hamstrings, as well as the outer side of the knee. Okay, let's do 1 more time. Going up, and then open, and open, and last one. Good. And then coming all the way back to the center, and then slowly go all the way back down. Now we're going to do spine twist supine, open the arms, but today we keep the feet and legs just dangling over the knees, okay? So you don't have to lift them up. Just relax your knees and then keep those knees in the deep flexion, okay? So now we inhale, so try not to extend your knees. Keep those knees like that, and then coming all the way back to the center. And inhaling. And exhaling. Okay, 1 more for each. Last one. Good, and then coming all the way back to the center. We keep those knees flexed, but this time you really want to draw the heels towards you. Deliberately bend your knees even more. So you probably can feel a little bit stretch over your knees on your quads. And then keep the legs like that when you do that rotation. So we really want to deepen the flexion of the knees this time. So we were just having the lower legs relaxed, but this time you really want to pull your calves towards your thighs. Okay, let's do 1 more for each. Inhaling and exhaling. So hamstrings are working for you to bend the knees. Good. And coming all the way back to the center. Now we go back to a regular one. So we are not really using the hamstring too much, as well as your quads. and try to maintain those knees like that, 90 degrees. And coming all the way back to the center. And just feel the difference. Inhaling. And exhaling. And last one. The band has nothing to do with the exercise. I'm just too lazy to take it off. Good. And then coming all the way back to the center. Now we lengthen the legs all the way out. Okay. And check where your kneecaps are facing. Your kneecaps are facing straight towards you. No turning out. Okay. And let's do the spine twist supine one more time. And deliberately extend your knees. And coming all the way back to the center. And let's go to the other side and inhale. And exhaling, coming all the way back to the center. And we keep the legs as straight as possible, but turn out the legs. So now your kneecaps are facing out. And then maybe you increase the pressure of the TheraBand. And you really want to pull the inner side of your quads to maintain that turn out. And we're going to do the regular spine twist supine, keep the legs turned out. Our glutes are working, as well as the inner side of your quads. Inhaling and exhaling, coming all the way back. And let's do one more time. Last one. Good. And then coming all the way back. And go ahead and bend your knees and just put your feet down. Okay. So now I want you to make fists and then put your fist right under your butt. Or if your fists are a little bit too extreme, you can just put your hands like that, palms facing down like this. Okay. So the place where I want you to put the hand or fist is, it's right there. It's the opposite side of your groin here. Okay. Right where the top of your femur is. Okay. Okay, so you need to use your abdominal muscles. Keep your legs dangling like that. Okay. So when you lift up the legs, just like you do a leg lift, both legs together. So prior to lifting up the leg, I want you to feel the top of the femur sinking into your hip socket towards your hands. Okay, so let the top of the femur sink into the hip socket towards your hands. Okay, if you are having your fist here, it's a little bit extreme. So the weight of your femur is sinking into your hands or fist. Okay, I'm putting my palm down because making a fist is a little bit extreme. Okay, so this is what I want you to feel when you lift up the legs. So instead of just lifting up the visible leg, allow the top of the femur going down into the hip socket. Okay, so use the idea for the next exercise. Okay, so lift up one leg up to tabletop. Okay, you need to increase the pressure of the band, but the thigh bone is going down. Now we extend the leg all the way and allow the top of the femur sinking even more deeper down into the hip socket. Bend the knee and drop it. Okay, let's do that again, the other side. So allow that top of the femur sink down into the socket and then let it go down deeper as you extend. You may not be able to extend your knee fully, that's fine. Okay, draw it down and then extend all the way. Keep the thigh as it is. Bend the knee and keep the thigh as it is and bring it down. Okay, let's do it again. Good. And keep the thigh in the socket and then try not to change that tension of the band when you extend and flex the knee. Okay, let's do that again. One more for each. Okay, So keep it heavy. Feel the weight of the leg going down into the hip socket. That's how you can stabilize your hips. Okay, let's do that again one more time. Exhale. Good. And coming all the way back down. And go ahead and bring both legs up to tabletop and then feel the weight of your legs going into the hip socket. Okay. You can put your hands here and we extend the legs all the way. Now you can push the thighs out. And then bring it back in, but initiate the movement, having the femur go into the hip socket. Okay, so you reach it out to allow the top of the femur sink down into the socket. Sorry, today's topic is knee, but I'm talking only about the femur, but actually your knee joints are working too, sorry. So you really want to extend your knees all the way and then bring it back. Okay, so this time you can definitely want to extend the knee fully and bring it back. So the angle of the legs doesn't matter. You can go slightly up to make it a little bit easier, or you can shoot the legs relatively lower so you can make it a little bit more challenging for your tummy. Let's do 2 more. Exhale. Last one. Exhale. Good. And then coming all the way back, and go ahead, remove the band and hug your knees. Good. And then let's make circles with the knees. And today for this one, keep your toes, big toes together. Okay, like this. We usually let your toes go, but today we want to keep your big toes together throughout the movement. So that the knee joint can be involved. Reverse. Yeah, you may not be able to feel the knee joints moving, but it is moving as long as your feet are touching. Okay, one more time. And then coming all the way back. Good. And then go ahead and bring your legs back down. Okay, so now we are going to do another leg lift, but no band. And then we are turning out the leg like this. Okay? So the movement is very similar, but we are turning out. So hopefully you can see my leg angle. So we usually do the leg lift here, but today we are turning out. The knee is no longer above the hip joint. Okay, foot stays in line with the midline, or maybe cross over the midline, but this is what we are doing. So you go down and then lift up. Okay, we go down. So the outer thigh is going down towards the floor when you go down like this. Okay. And inner thigh is almost facing up the ceiling when you are completely down. Okay, so think about lifting up through the inner thigh. And let's do one more time. And let's switch side. Okay, lift up and then turn out. That's the easiest. So the knee is no longer above the hip joint, and the foot is maybe in line with the opposite hip. And then keep the knee angle as it is for now. It is definitely abdominal work. Okay, stabilization, stabilizing up pelvis, lumbar. Okay, let's do 2 more. Last one. Good. Now we lengthen the legs, switch legs. Let's just switch legs. And this time, okay, you don't have to open the knee out. You just lengthen the leg and then turn out from the hip joint axis, okay? So your foot stays, your knee stays right in line with your hip joint. And then I really want you to pull your kneecap up towards your pubic bone from the inner side of your, not hamstring, sorry, quads, okay? So focus on the inner side of the quads to pull your kneecap. And then we go down and maintain the turn out when we lift up, okay? And then keep that quads engaged. Okay, you don't have to go too low, too high. And then feel the hip socket, okay, sinking, the femur sinking into the hip socket as you lift it up. And go down and up. Doesn't have to be high. Keep it turned out. So Karen, without open the leg to the side, you go just, you are straight and then just turned out and then just going up and down. Okay. This is, of course, your hip joint movement, but I really want you to use that quads. Okay, switch side. Okay, if you want to shake it out, go ahead. Okay, reach. So it's in line with your pelvis, turned out. Focus on pulling that kneecap here through the quads. Inhale, and then exhale. Inhale, and exhale. And try not to turn, try not to arch your back. And two more. Last one. Good. And then come back, and then we come back to the same position. Okay. Same position. All right. So now, we come back to a turn out position. Sorry. So lift up and then turn out. Okay. Forget about it. Okay. So lift up and then turn out. So the knee is no longer in line with your hips. And then keep the turn out and then extend. Okay. You can let the leg go down a little bit, turn out, and extend. The focus is the same quads here, okay? Inside the quads, inner side the quads. When you extend, you really want to pull the inner side of your quads. Inhale, turn out, and then exhale. Last one. There you go. And switch side. Ooh. So lift up and then turn out. And you can let the leg go a little bit lower and then go ahead, extend and bend. So your thigh bone is not moving. Good. Jerry, can you move the knee slightly outwards towards the shelf? There you go. And then foot is coming towards your midline, Jerry. Turn out. Yes, a little bit more like this, if you can. There you go. And then extend. So like this. Sorry, it may be a camera angle. And then as you can see, my thigh is not moving. Okay, there you go. So once you bend the knee, the foot is coming towards the opposite side knee. And then extend and going away from the knee. There you go, because we have turned out. There you go. Good, last one. Good. Nice. And then coming back and then go ahead and let it go and just do a windshield wiper. We did a lot of knee movement. Nice. Okay, let's come up and have a seat. Seated position. And open the knees wide. Nice. And reach out your arms all the way out. Okay, we did this one in the last class. And have your tree, imaginary tree, and then dive forward. Drop your arms by your side, palms facing up, and then you draw your arms back up when you stack your hands. Walk your fingers out, reach, and hug an imaginary tree in front of you, and roll down, and get your hands touch, and lift up. Okay, so the knees are not really involved for this exercise, but I still want you to keep the knees as straight as possible with your back flat. Okay, have your tree, dive forward, and let your hands go down and go all the way back. Or keep your toes pulled. That makes your quads work. Okay, open. Let's do one more time. And dive forward. And drop your arms. And slowly come back. Good. Now go ahead and put your feet together. Make a long shaped diamond. And again, reach your arms, and this time you take your arms straight up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, go ahead, open the arms, and let's do 2 poses. 1, 2, and center. Bring it back. And 1, 2, and center. So keep the feet together and open the knees as wide as you can, especially when you rotate. So the opposite side leg wants to go down, okay? Because we often want to take the leg up when we rotate. So keep it down, down, center. So this opposite knee wants to go down and center. And open, open, center. And let's do one more for each after this last one. And center, gonna go ahead, dive forward and get a nice stretch. Okay, now slowly coming all the way back up, and go ahead, bend your knees and lie down on your back again. Okay, so we're going to do another pelvic curl, just a regular pelvic curl, so you can put your feet away. And I want you to focus on how you press the feet down into the floor. Okay, so today I want you to press the feet down, straight down. How can I say that? Press the feet down into the mat straight. And then towards the end, I want you to drag the feet towards you without moving them, okay? So that means you're pushing it down, and then you're doing this motion without moving your feet. Okay, let's do that. Inhale, you're going all the way up, either by rounding or hinging, doesn't matter. So as you go up, I want you to push the feet down, straight down into the floor. And once you come here, you pull your feet towards you, drag your feet towards you so you can use more hamstrings. And then slowly go down. And while you're going down, again, push the feet straight down into the floor. Try not to push the feet this direction because you start using your quads. So I want you to use the hamstrings instead. Inhaling and exhaling, going up, and then press the feet and then draw your feet towards you. So once you go all the way up to the top, you press it and then draw it towards your butt. And going all the way back down. No movement, but your legs are working. All the way down. Let's do that again. Inhaling and exhaling. That's how you can engage your hamstrings. Press them down and then draw your feet towards you. Okay, my hamstrings are firing and going all the way back down. Good. Let's do that again. Inhale and exhaling, going up. Press down and draw them in. And going all the way back down. Okay, so now we do the same pelvic curls, but our feet are really close to the buttocks. Okay, so now we no longer use the hamstrings, but we stretch the quads a lot. Okay, and then you may not be able to do articulation of the spine anymore. You reach the knees forward and then feel a nice stretch on your quads. So make sure you curl the tailbone again, and then you don't really have to do anything for your feet. And here you really want to stretch that quads. Ooh, let's do that again. Inhale, it's really hard. Exhaling, going up, and then reach those knees out away from yourself. Okay, our quads needs to be flexible, needs to be strong at the same time. Now we are stretching them. Okay, one more time. So hopefully you're feeling the stretch. Reach, 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 and then going all the way back down. Okay, so now we're going to do 2 more pelvic curls like that, but this time your heels are touching together. Okay, so we were parallel, but now your heels are touching and then your knees are as wide as your shoulders, or maybe wider than your hips. Okay, so heels are really close to your tailbone. And then as you go up, your knees are still apart. And then reach those knees out. So you can stretch the inner side of your, not hamstring, sorry, was more than the outer side. Lift. And then going all the way down, and keep reaching your tailbone down towards your heels, and then feel the significant stretch on your knees. Inhale, let's do one more time. Exhaling, curling down, curling up, sorry. Curling up, curling up, curling up. Okay, reach the knees, and then it's okay, your knees are going apart. Reach the inner side of your thigh and knee away from yourself. And going all the way back down, back down, back down. Good. And let it go down. Ooh. Okay, so now go ahead and lie down on your side. And then we're going to do a side lift. Okay. Regular side lift. We are using the knee joint, but our knee joints are still. Today we are adding the ankle joint movement at the top. Okay. Once you flex your feet, so that means once you are in a dorsiflexion, you can easily tighten your quads. That's what I want you to feel. So go ahead, point your toes and then lift up your legs as usual. Now from here, you flex the feet and point your feet and lower the legs back down. Okay, so exhale, lift. And then when you flex the feet, try not to lose your quadriceps strength, okay? Make your quadriceps a little bit tighter. So that means try not to soften the knees when you flex your feet. Keep the thighs really strong when you flex the feet. and going down and going up and flex and point and going down. Okay, let's do 2 more. Exhale, flex, tighten your hamstring, not hamstring, sorry, quadricep. Last one. Good. And bring it down all the way. Nice. Okay. You can bend your underneath leg, and then we're going to do a bicycle leg, top leg. Okay. Bend your, oh, sorry, not bending. Yeah, bend your knee, tabletop, and extend, and keep the knee extended when you go back. So here, our tendency is we start bending the knee, but try not to let it happen. So reach, reach, reach. And then from here, start bending the knee. The heel is coming really close to your buttocks. And then take the leg forward and extend. Good. So I'm facing down so you can see my leg here. So here, I really want to reach the knee back and then bend the knee as much as you can here. Okay. And then when you slide your leg forward, keep the knee bent as deep as you can. Reach. So wherever your knee is, when you're bending the knee, keep the knee bent as deep as you can. So here, my heel is really close to my buttocks and extend. So you can use the full range of the knee. Especially for bending, we often don't go to the end of the range. And then as well as the extension, we often stop before the knee extends fully. Okay, let's do one more time. Bend the knee as deep as you can. And then once you come here, we do reverse. Bend the knee, the heel is almost touching your buttocks. And then keep the knee bent as you reach. And then extend your knee. Good. And slide. Okay, bend the knee as deep as you can. Keep the knee folded as you go back. So this is the hardest part because we want to let it go. Okay, and then reach. And go forward. And bend. This is a great exercise for your glutes too, because the leg is always floating in the air. Let's do one more time. Bend. And then keep the knee bent as much as you can, and then reach. And then once you bend the knee here, you grab your foot and then go into the quad stretch. Okay, so pull your abs in. You're almost in the posterior tilt of the pelvis, and reach the knee away. Good. And you open the knee up, but keep your heel right behind your buttocks, and then bring it down. Okay, lift. Bring it down. And we lift. And bring it down. Last one. Nice. And then hold. And go ahead and come up, and let's do the other side. Okay, we're not using the band anymore. Okay, now we do leg lift, side leg lift. Point your feet, and we raise. Flex those feet, pushing the heels out, point, and down. Okay, of course, this is the ankle joint movement, but as you flex the feet, really want you to tighten the hamstring. below here, okay, lower part of your quads, not the hamstring, sorry. I just keep making mistakes, but flex and reach the heels, point, and wherever your ankle joint is, keep the knees tight and strong. And going down, let's do 2 more of those. Exhale, flex and reach. Okay, keep pulling your kneecaps up towards your pelvis. Good. And then go ahead, bring it down. Bend your underneath leg knee. Bend your knee and you reach and reach the leg backwards. And now bend that knee without moving the thigh forward. Go as deep knee flexion as you can. And then extend all the way. And while you're going backwards, try not to bend the knee. Reach and use the knee hamstring to pull and forward and release the hamstrings. Good. And then go back, reach. Keep using the top hamstring to extend your hips. And swing the leg forward and reach. And let's do 2 more. Yes, there you go. So try not to move your thigh bone until you go to your full knee flexion. So try not to move the thigh bone until you bend the knee fully and reach. Reverse. So your knee goes into a full flexion. Your full flexion is fine. And keep it in a flexion as you go back. And now you extend. So try not to do 2 movements at a time. Okay. 2 movements means don't move the knee while the hip joint is moving. And vice versa. So now your hip joint is moving, but knee joint is still. Now your hip joint is still, and then just that knee joint is moving. It's not easy because if you move 2 joints at the same time, it's way easier. Okay, reach, and then you extend your knee. Go, 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 go. Last one. And pull. Okay, and once you come here, you grab your foot and pull your abdominals up and keep the knee in line with your hips, and the leg never comes forward. Okay, and then go ahead, open and bring it down and open and bring it down. 2 more, stretch, inhaling and exhale. Last one. Good. And then go ahead, face down and put your hands under your forehead for now. Okay. Tuck your toes under and walk your feet as close as possible towards you. Okay. And then keep reaching the heels out and then see how much your quadriceps you're using when you push that heels out, and just let it go. Okay, same idea. Walk your toes towards you and then pushing through the heels. And then without losing it, point your foot, one of them, and then lower. And the other foot point. So your quads are still working relatively actively and for a back extension. So keep the quads active, hands by your side, roll your shoulders backwards, and we're going to go into a back extension. Lower. Okay, your quads and the hamstrings are active. And make sure you're using your inner thighs to keep the legs Gently squeeze and lower. Okay, heels may not be touching, that's fine. And lower. And let's do 2 more of those. Inhale. Good. Last one. Nice. And then go all the way back down, and you can put your hands back onto your under your forehead. We lift up the leg, bend the knee, extend the knee, and take it down. Okay, while you're doing this, keep that pubic bone down onto the floor, as well as your hip bones. Hip bones may not be touching the floor, but when you do this, try not to change the distance between your hip bones and the floor. Bend and reach and down. And when you bend the knee, go as deep as you can go. So the heel is almost touching to the buttock. And go down. Let's do that again. Lift. Yeah, bend as deep as you can. And let's do one more time. Okay. So make sure the legs are straight. No turning out. Good. And then you can come all the way back down and just come on to the not quadruped, sorry. Child's pose for now. And then come all the way back up. And quadrupeds. Okay. So now we keep the shins down on the floor, and then we do our hip circles. Okay. And then try not to move your feet when you do the circles. Okay. So where the pinky toe is, okay, you may not be able to anchor those 2 pinkies completely, but that's the idea. So even when your hips are shifting to the side, try not to lift up the opposite side of the pinky. So the top of your feet are planted completely on the floor, ideally. And let's go to the other side. Okay. We are addressing the hips, but as well as the knees, as long as your lower legs are still. Good. And then coming all the way back. And then we did this one before a couple classes ago. So just cross one ankle joint over. So only one foot leg is moving. And then just shift your hips back. And then come back. Your hips are going straight backwards. So try not to shift your hips towards one side. Good. Go as deep as you can go, sitting on your heels. And let's switch side. One side is always easy. Okay, let's do 2 more. And last one. Now we come back to all 4. If your wrists bother you, you can always come down on your elbows. Okay, this is an option for you. Take one leg straight behind you and lift up that leg. Okay. So we did this one, straight leg and bend the knee already. So we are not doing that. Okay, so lift up the leg and then open the leg to the side. Okay, so your leg is here. And then we do the bending. And try to bring that heel towards your sits bone. So you don't have to go too far out. Okay, so you're here. Knee is always pointing diagonally out. 2 more of those. And last one. Good. And let's switch side. So try to find your center. And go ahead, extend, and then open the knee out. And the heel is going towards your sits bone, like that. So there is slight twisting in your hips. Hip joint, not hips, hip joint. Okay, 2 more. And last one. Now we switch side and reach the leg again. Now we go slightly over the midline. It doesn't have to be big. And then you bend the knee. Okay, and then lift up your inner thigh up towards the ceiling. So you're slightly internally rotated. So when we are here, we were using the outer side of the hamstrings mostly. And when we are here, we are using the inner side of the hamstrings mostly. And we often ignore to use the inner side of the hamstrings. So we really want to use the inner side of the hamstrings. Okay, last one. Good. And go ahead, switch side. The leg doesn't have to be crossing too much. Okay, lift up and just go crossing over the midline just a little bit. Okay, and then in. Good. And make sure the heel is coming towards the same side sits bone, not towards the other side sits bone. Otherwise, you start using a different muscles. And try to lift up your inner thigh slightly up towards the ceiling. So you're slightly internally rotated. And let's do 2 more because this is the inner hamstrings are harder to use. So we want to do a little bit more than usual. Good. Oh my goodness. Okay. Go ahead, have a seat again. And just give yourself breath. When we want to work on the knees, we can't ignore the ankle joint and the hip joint. So walk your hands towards the right side, left side. So that's why we did lots of hip and foot exercises. Okay, let's do the other side. Let's go to the other side. Good, and coming all the way back to the center, and then roll yourself up and coming on to the kneeling. And we're going to do a thigh stretch a couple of times. Good, and make sure plant your feet like that. Okay, so focus on the pinky edge, planting down as much as you can, of course. Okay, reach the arms and exhaling, leaning back and focus on pushing through the pinky side of your foot and then going up and let it go. You reach. As you go down, okay, make sure your feet are flat. So you don't have to lift up your outer edge of your foot. Okay, one more time. Push through the pinky edge, down. Ooh, and then going all the way. Good. And let your arms go. And we're going to do a kneeling roll downs. Let your knuckles touch. Keep your head down. And then coming all the way back and still focusing on gently pressing the pinky edge down of your feet. And going down. And going up. Good. And then go all the way up and give yourself 2 breaths. Last one. Yay, thank you so much. It was one of the most challenging topics I ever taught.